Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. In today's video I want to give you some fragrance recommendations. If you enjoy heavy fragrances, if you enjoy mysterious fragrances, if you enjoy bold and statement fragrances, then all these fragrances are fragrances that are worth checking out. Now, I feel like it goes without saying that these are heavier fragrances, so none of these fragrances that I will talk about in today's video are safe blind buys. Please do your own research. Just because you resonate with some of the fragrances that I recommend here on my channel, don't think you will resonate with everything that I recommend. Please always do your own research, read reviews on Fragrantica, buy a sample, always sample if you have the possibility instead of blind buying, so you only invest your money in fragrances that you actually enjoy and wear, you know. So this idea was requested by someone who's watching my videos. Thank you very much. I will try to insert the comment with the video idea. I loved your idea. I love this kind of fragrances. These are fragrances that, especially in cold weather, these are my go-to fragrances, you know. So you will see here in today's video a lot of fragrances that I have mentioned here and there in other videos of mine, but I mentioned them again because these are fragrances that I truly love and that I truly recommend for you to at least test them. So as you guys, without further ado, let's just start. I think I have 8 fragrances, but the first fragrance I want to start with is called Rosewood from Ajmal. This is a fragrance that I have in my collection for way before I started YouTube. 2016 or 2017, something like this, honestly. I have to... yeah, for a lot of years, honestly, a lot of years. And this fragrance, to me, I still love it. I still love it. To me, this is the definition of a timeless, classy statement fragrance with a Middle Eastern vibe for sure, but without being too challenging. For instance, this fragrance is made around that specific rich, deep woody accord that Ajmal has in lots of their fragrances. Especially if you have tried more fragrances from the W series, from the wood series, then you will recognize the woody accord that they used. I love this type of woody accord. It smells very realistic, very deep, very dark, very mysterious, very rich but dry at the same time. And you also have a dry rose here, but again, I feel like it sits behind the woody accord. The woody feel, it's what you will get the first when you smell this fragrance. You also have some spices here. Now, to my nose, these are more like your abstract spices. You know, I can say that, oh, I smell cardamom, or oh, I smell cinnamon, or something like this. To me, it's like an abstract spicy accord. It's the same feel you get when you just like open your spice cabinet and you get whiffs of all these different spices. You know, this is something. And I feel like this is the vibe that you have here as well. But again, beautifully blended. Nothing is out of place. Nothing is dosed too much. Let's say the woody accord here is balanced. Yes, it's strong. Yes, it's present. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's mysterious. But at the same time, it feels elevated. It feels sophisticated, you guys. This fragrance, even though it's not your typical elegant fragrance, to me it has something very refined and elegant about it. And also I feel like you have just a little bit of vanilla here, but don't consider this fragrance a sweet fragrance. Don't buy it for the vanilla, you know. The vanilla here is just a little bit to cut from the roughness and the dryness of the woody accord with the powdery spices and everything. The fragrance itself does have a slight powdery tinge to it as well. And I feel like what the vanilla does here, let's just say it makes it a bit more round, you know, around the edges, so it's not as rough, dry, abrasive, you know, from the woody accords, from the spices, from everything else. Even the rose is dry, you know. But you do have to appreciate this like mysterious, sophisticated, somehow Middle Eastern leaning fragrances to appreciate this one. Now, to me, I feel like this fragrance is a perfect unisex. I know in the review I mentioned that it's leaning more feminine, but honestly I feel like because of the way they did the woody accord here, even though I would still picture this fragrance, like when I smell this fragrance, I picture this fragrance on a femme fatale, you know, like a femme fatale who wants a powerful fragrance. Yeah, that's the fragrance. And the thing is, something that I really appreciate about this fragrance, to me, it never really goes out of style, you know, because this was never, let's just say, trending or stylish to begin with. I feel like this fragrance itself is quite timeless. It smells good now, it will smell good in 4 years, it will smell good in 10 years. It's not the kind of fragrance that's overly trending, and when the trend passes, let's just say, now what? You know, it's not that kind of fragrance. So if you invest in this kind of fragrance, it's a fragrance that you can have in your collection for the rest of your life. You could wear it, honestly, you could wear it all year round to me. But I do think the majority of people would appreciate this fragrance or would enjoy to smell this fragrance during the colder weather, let's say. Now, something about this fragrance, because I have it in my collection for such a long time, sometimes I actually like to layer it. And you know how I said that the overall fragrance is quite dry, and the vanilla there is just more of it just adds a slight sweetness to the fragrance, even though I wouldn't call this fragrance sweet, but it also adds a slight roundness to the overall dry feel of the fragrance. Now, a layering combo that I did, hold on, let me get it. Okay, so a layering combo that I did is with Intense Cafe from Montale. Now, if you have this fragrance in your collection, or first of all, if you have this fragrance in your collection, second of all, if you have this fragrance or anything similar to it, try to layer these two together, and I'm telling you, you will smell amazing. What I feel like Intense Cafe adds, you know, I will just like put it here because I hate the way that the bottles sound when I film, especially having a mic here. You know, I feel like the mic really picks up the noise and it's very annoying. But what Intense Cafe or anything in that scent family will add to rosewood, it will add more creaminess, you know, so the woody accord, it's still there, it's still present, you still have this like deep, dark, mysterious feel of the fragrance, but you amplify the sweetness and you make the overall, you make the rose there overall a bit more sweet, a bit more creamier, a bit more fuller. It makes the rose shine a little bit more as well, and you just overall add a creamy sweetness to the fragrance. Again, these two pair so well together, you guys, especially now if you are going out, if you want to smell. Look, this one on its own, it's elegant, it's elevated, it's mysterious, it's sophisticated, it's all of this, you know. This one, because of the sweetness, I find it quite playful, you know. I find it quite feminine, quite playful, quite a little bit flirty here and there, you know. So if you layer these two, I feel like you have the best of both worlds. I use this one as a base and I use Intense Cafe as a topper, as a reference. So yes. So speaking of staple fragrances, I want to recommend you a fragrance next that I am in love with it, you guys. Since the first time I put my nose to the fragrance, since the first time I tried it, I love it so much, honestly. It's a fragrance that, yes, indeed, it got a lot of hype on YouTube, but to me, the hype is completely worth it. The next fragrance is called ARABIANS TONKA from Montale. I don't have a lot of it left, honestly, but I have a backup bottle, and I'm actually thinking of getting another backup bottle when I see a good price for it. Because again, this fragrance smells like me. I feel like by now I've worn it so much that I'm emotionally connected to this fragrance. Just the same goes with Rosewood by Ajmal. But I feel like I have actually worn this one much more than Rosewood from Ajmal. Now this fragrance, again, it's a statement fragrance. It's a powerful fragrance. Performance is clearly not an issue, so I will just mention the performance and then I will move on to how it actually smells like. This is a beast mode, guys. This is like the true definition of a beast mode fragrance. If you are looking to buy one fragrance that's heavy, that's strong, that smells different, that smells, I don't know, to me smells very alluring if you ask me, that it's a statement scent with amazing performance, buy this one. Or test this one. Test it first, because I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, you know. I love the smell of this fragrance, you guys. Oh my god. This to me is a sugar bomb, like such a strong sugary core this one has. It's sugar mixed with a little bit of wood, mixed with a very pronounced like oak mossy undertone to the fragrance. You also have a slight, how to say, like a slight translucence into the scent, but the scent overall, it's very strong, it's very dense, it's very full, it's also very complex, and it's here to stay. Like once you spray this fragrance, believe me, you don't need a lot of sprays, like 5 to 6 sprays, it's all you need. On my skin, the first time I tried it, I actually timed it, it lasted for 12 hours, sorry, 12 hours, you guys. 12 hours, like, can you believe? And fragrances usually don't last on my skin, but this one lasted for 12 hours. This is my staple, honestly, all year round staple, but in winter, again, I love to layer this one with lots of other fragrances. But let me tell you how this one smells like. So basically, it's very sweet, very sugary. You have this almost like cane sugar, or how it's called in English, feel about it. So it's ultra sugary and sweet, with something slightly oak mossy translucent in the background, with a touch of something woody, but the woody accord, it's not the woody accord that you have in Rosewood rosewood from Ajmal. It's a different type of woody accord, you know. It feels a bit more molecular. I don't know how to describe it, you know. And tonka bean, very sweet. I know it has saffron. You do get a little bit of saffron as well in the opening, but it doesn't lean medicinal. Now, one thing about Montale fragrances, if you see they're listed rose, saffron, and oud, don't blind buy them, because their oud accords can smell, not all, but some of them can smell very poorly done, honestly. They can smell like a cleaning product, like legit like a cleaning product with like chlorine or with something like a, yeah, I don't know really what they do when it comes to certain rosewood fragrances they have. Oh, by the way, I don't get much rose from this fragrance. To me, it's a sugary bomb with oak moss. An oak moss similar to the way that you have in the Baccarat Rouge. That type of oak moss, you know, so it's slightly deep, oak mossy green with a slight translucency to it, you know. But the overall fragrance is so dense, it's so warm, it legit feels like if you do like 5 sprays, this fragrance projects like nuclear, you know, and it envelops you. There's no way you can go somewhere if you wear this fragrance and people will not notice the fragrance. And in case you have this fragrance, let me give you a few layering suggestions. One combo that I love to do with this fragrance in cold weather. Why I say cold weather is because usually when it's very hot outside, I don't layer this one. Oh, actually I do, but I layer it with, I will give you this combo as well, because maybe it's still warm where you live. I don't know, but if you have Burberry Her in your collection, or if you have, I don't have Burberry Her, but I have the inspiration from Maison Asrar, called Red Velvet. Now, I layered red velvet with this one, with Arabians Tonka. I applied them on different parts of my body. Again, it was a summer night, I was going out. I wanted something that smelled kind of summery, but with lots of depth, a little bit different, you know, the kind of fragrances that I like. I layered these two. I smelled amazing. I smelled amazing. If you want to give it even more of that Baccarat Rouge-esque DNA, even though to me this is quite different to Baccarat Rouge, at least to the OG version, the extract, I haven't smelled it. Use the Baccarat Rouge inspired oil. I have one from Ibn al-Jiburi. Again, I use that one on my wrist. That one I actually don't like to apply it in my hair all the time, because I don't want my hair to smell like that, you know. But I usually apply this one in my hair, you know. Like I said, I apply that one on my wrist, I go, or on my clothes, and then I come with few sprays of this one on top. Again, when you want something that's strong, especially I feel like if you are planning to layer this fragrance, you should be in open spaces, because this is very heavy to begin with, you know. So yeah. Another fragrance recommendation to layer, this time for the cold season, if you have Tom Ford Noir Parfum in your collection, you guys please layer these two. They smell so amazing. Now I don't layer them on top of one another because I want to be able to smell Arabian Tonka, and I also want to be able to smell the one from Tom Ford, so I apply them on different parts of my body. Basically what I do, usually I first start with Arabian Tonka. The thing is I have to like try to spray, you know, so I know how many sprays I do. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do 5 sprays of Arabian Tonka, like one here, one here, one here, one here, and few extra ones. I don't know how many I've said. And then I just come with Noir Parfum from Tom Ford. I usually do it in my hair, like I turn all my hair in the front and then I just spray it in my hair, and I do this motion, you know, and I do like few extra sprays like this, like, and then I'm done. I wait a few minutes so the scent can it can get a chance to tone down a little bit, so you don't just step outside of the house and your fragrance will be, you know. The thing is, I feel like when you layer heavier fragrances, you should wait at least like, let's just say 10 minutes before you leave the house, so the fragrances get a chance to settle and you don't go out of your house smelling like someone dropped like a bottle of fragrance on you, you know, like from head to toe, because it's not a pleasant feel. So let's continue with the next recommendations, and I have 2 recommendations with tobacco for you. I love how tobacco smells like, not the tobacco that you have in cigars, like that ashy tobacco cigar kind of smell. That's not my thing, but I love that dry tobacco leaf smell, especially with spices. This smells so good, you guys. The first recommendation that I have for you is a fragrance that I received amazing feedback when I wore it. Not feedback, compliments. I received amazing compliments whenever I wear it. From my partner, from my friend, from my friend's friends, from my friend's friend. Lots of people love it, even though this is marketed, I feel like, for men. I love to wear it, and I feel like it shines very beautiful on a woman as well. Of course, if you enjoy this kind of fragrances, this is Red Tobacco from Mancera. Yeah, without further ado, this is Red Tobacco from Mancera. This smells like, you guys, this smells like an explosion of spices with something red and hot and fiery. With tobacco, the tobacco feels very rich and it feels very dry at the same time, but you also have patchouli here, and I feel like from time to time the patchouli can almost add a slight damp green undertone to the tobacco. And I know when I see this it doesn't sound good, but believe me, you have the spices to balance it out. Even though the spices, especially in the opening, they are quite sharp. Yes, they are sweet, but they are also very sharp. The nutmeg in the opening of this fragrance has a slight essential oil quality about, like essential oil-esque quality about it, you know. Again, I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea. Personally, I love it. I love to wear it. I love to wear it with this kind of outfits, you know, like a turtleneck with like a trench coat, you know, maybe it's a bit rainy outside, maybe it's very cold outside. I don't do a lot of sprays of this one. You don't need, again, 5 to 6 sprays is all you need if you want to keep it classy. But keep in mind, this is one of the few fragrances that I feel like it actually needs cold temperatures to wear it. In the high heat, I feel like the patchouli and that slight damp facet of the patchouli, basically the slight deep damp green facet of the patchouli in very warm weather, it pulls off quite herbal and sharp. I feel like you need the cold temperatures for it to develop as beautifully as it does. And you know me, I'm not one who says like I wear fragrances based on seasons. I don't really change my fragrances. I wear fragrances based on my mood, but I have noticed with some fragrances, especially those with lots of patchouli, but a patchouli can smell very different in fragrances, guys. The kind of patchouli that I'm talking about here is that slightly dewy, herbal, deep type of patchouli. If the patchouli feels herbal and it feels a little bit dewy, wear it in cold weather. If the patchouli feels a bit more dry, a bit more earthy, or even just like grounding, but it doesn't have that like herbal dewy feel, I feel like you could pull it off and it would shine a lot in warm weather as well. But it's, of course, it depends a lot on the other notes that it's paired with, you know. So yeah, Red Tobacco, amazing fragrance, love it as well. By now I'm emotionally connected to this fragrance as well. If you haven't tried it yet, I would highly encourage you to try it and see for yourself. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Now, in case, let's just say you've tried Red Tobacco, you don't like it at all, it's not your cup of tea, the patchouli there is too strong, the fragrance is too sharp, it's too, let's just say there's something about it that you don't like it, then I would recommend you to get this fragrance. This fragrance, you guys, I have a feeling I will wear this fragrance so much during this season, during the autumn winter season. This is called GHARAM by Junaid Perfumes. This one I actually want to apply it on my skin. This fragrance is, this smells, guys, this smells so complex, smells so expensive. And you know why I feel like it smells very expensive? It's because you have this feeling that you're dipping your nose, or your, like when you're smelling this fragrance, it legit feels like you're dipping your nose or your face into dozens of layers of scents, of textures, of everything combined, you know. And it feels very robust, it feels very full, it feels very complex, you know. You have lots of things going on here. This, in the opening, you guys, it smells like gingerbread house with, so you have that gingerbread smell that lasts for a few seconds, I feel like, and then that scent, it's almost like it moves into the smell of, imagine like you just opened like a box of dark chocolates with orange, or like orange covered dark chocolate, something like this, you know. Again, I will insert a photo with those things. And then imagine near that chocolate, like as you lean in, maybe to grab one, maybe to smell it, you know, you are near like lots of, like a cigar box with lots of cigars, you know, or something like this, because you also have this beautiful but ultra realistic, dry, rich tobacco flavor, and it smells so beautiful, you guys, so beautiful. And as you lean in to smell it, you start to get the cinnamon undertone, you start to get a slight honeyed facet, and the honey from time to time it feels syrupy. This is a very sweet take on tobacco, but it's beautiful, but very strong at the same time. So yeah. Also, from time to time when you smell it, you get this like deep, almost like a little bit sticky, dried, plummy feel to the scent. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. I feel like I have mentioned this fragrance, let me think when I have mentioned it. Recently, basically I have mentioned this fragrance in a recent video. I think in the video where I talk about Ajmal and I give you layering suggestions. if I remember correctly, but I think 3 or 4 people purchased this fragrance based on my recommendation, but just recently, and they all came back with amazing feedback. They all came back with amazing, 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 amazing feedback. Again, if you're one who loves deep fragrances, because this is definitely deep, it's dark, but it's not, how to say, it's not like dewy, earthy, wet type of scent, you know? Definitely not that. It's quite alluring, it's quite mysterious, it's quite sophisticated, you know? It feels very, it smells very natural in a way. It smells very raw. It legit smells like you have a box with high quality cigars, like you have your cinnamon sticks, you know, on top of the cigars. Not cigar, oh yes, actually cigars. I think cigars is called in English, yeah. Then you have, you know, like your box with like orange flavored dark chocolate, something like this, and you lean in and you get all these different nuances, and they smell so realistic, so strong, so decadent, so powerful, so rich, so... I love it. I love this fragrance, you guys. I love it, and I cannot wait to wear it more. Even when I'm smelling it now, this is my kind of fragrance, you know, like this is my kind of fragrance. If you are based in the US, you can find samples of this fragrance. From what I know, at least you could have found on Fragrance Arabia. If you don't know about Fragrance Arabia, they're the official Junaid Perfumes distributors in the North America. They used to sell samples. If they don't, you could kindly ask them if they want to restart selling samples, I don't know. But in case you haven't tried this fragrance, I would highly recommend you to get a sample. Now let's continue with the other fragrance recommendations. This next fragrance is the fragrance made around rose, but to me it's a very different take on rose, and it's a rose fragrance that completely mesmerized me. It has fascinated me, and it's almost like it has put a spell on me. Yeah, this fragrance is called FILLE De Berlin. This is from Serge Lutens. This fragrance, even though I can say that I have worn it the most, but if you are looking to purchase a fragrance that's mysterious, but this time more like a sensual, seductive, witchy type of mysterious, then I would really advise you to try out this fragrance. It's... You know what it smells like, you guys, to me? Especially once it gets a chance to macerate. You know, these types of roses. Now imagine you take the flowers, like the petals of the roses, without the stem. You boil them and you add lots of honey. Like imagine you add lots of these roses, you add like a jar of honey, you add a little bit of water, and you let them to boil until they become a paste. This is how this fragrance smells like. It smells so mysterious, so alluring, so sensual, so seductive, but so witchy at the same time, in a way. I don't know. This fragrance definitely has something very special about it, for me at least. And even though I can't say that I have worn it that much, because to me, I don't know, I genuinely feel the need for some sort of special event to wear this fragrance. It smells so beautiful, so beautiful. See, now in the opening I still get a little bit of that greenness, but this is not your typical rose with geranium, you know. This doesn't smell like a rose with the stem with that raw greenness, dewy green type of edge. No, or like your rose with patchouli. This doesn't go into that direction. To me, the green feel here, almost in the opening, almost feels like a little bit like mentholated in a sense. But once that green nuance tones down, and it will, especially if you let this one macerate, it will get softer and softer, because the rose and the honey will get to develop even more if you let this one to macerate, and those are the notes that shine the most. It feels, but it also feels boiled. Like, I know perhaps a boiled rose doesn't sound the best, you know, but believe me, somehow it works. It legit smells like you boil this kind of rose petals, like you boil them with honey, and you boil them so much until it becomes a paste. This is how this smells like. So beautiful. This is definitely a rose forward fragrance. The rose is the star of the show, with all the other notes here and accords playing a slight different facet of the rose accord. This is not lots of rose with lots of something else. This is lots of rose with lots of rose with lots of rose with lots of sweetness, you know. This has something so carnal about it, so intimate in a sense. It's almost like you really don't want lots of people to have the pleasure to smell this fragrance on you, you know. It's almost like you want this fragrance for somewhat of a special occasion, if you know what I mean, you know, perhaps a date night with your partners, I don't know, something like this, or an occasion when you really want to when you really want to let your femininity shine, you know, but not the like girly, bubbly feminine side of you, no, that like more mysterious, sensual femininity, you know. Next fragrance that I want to recommend you, again, a very mysterious fragrance, a very strong fragrance at the same time. This time it is made around patchouli, but I feel like it's a very different take on patchouli. This fragrance is called Vanilla Royal Sugared Patchouli 64. Let me spray it here. This, you guys, this is a very balsamic take on patchouli. So the patchouli here, I love this one as well. Again, this is my kind of fragrance. I love this fragrance. I feel like I sound like a broken record, you know, for all these fragrances, but these are genuinely fragrances that are so close to my heart and that I would recommend them like with my eyes closed, you know, because I 1000% stand by them. Yeah, this one I actually wore it in summer as well, and it smelled amazing. I wore it all year round to me, because the patchouli here is not the kind of patchouli that you have in red tobacco. It doesn't have any damp facets about it. The overall fragrance feels quite dry in a sense. So the patchouli here feels a little bit dry as well, but it's a very balsamic take on patchouli, meaning that you still have that like deep green mysterious feel of the patchouli, but here it's accompanied with a very strong balsamic accord that feels quite dry, but these two together create a very decadent, rich and strong base, and it smells full, it smells very complex in a sense, it smells very thick, you know, very robust. So you have this very heavy base with lots of delicious gourmand facets on top. You have something that smells like a burnt brown sugar, like creme brulee, brown sugar, melted brown sugar. You have that type of sweetness, and I also detect a sweetness that comes from the vanilla, but not your regular cookie-like vanillic sweetness. The sweetness that you have in a vanilla pod, that balsamic type of sweetness that natural vanilla pods have. You know what I mean? If you have ever smelled a vanilla pod, you know that it smells, yes, it smells sweet, but it smells sweet in an aged vanilla with a slight funk, a sweet funk, and with a slight balsamic facet. You know, this is how a vanilla pod smells like an aged vanilla pod. You have something of the scent structure of the scent profile of a vanilla pod here in this fragrance. So this fragrance is definitely very sweet. Even though you have patchouli, you have the balsamic touch. I think it has listed wood. I get no wood, honestly. If anything, I get a soft woody accord in the background, but again, it's in the base, and imagine you have all these other gourmand notes floating on top of the base, you know, some of them even melted within the base, you know, because it's all so well blended that it's harder to pick or like to pinpoint, you know, in a sense, or like to deconstruct it. Now let's continue with the next fragrance. This is more of, how to call it, like an honorable mention, or basically I want to give you an alternative, because I know not everyone loves overly sweet fragrances, and that one from Kayali is very sweet, and I just got to discover a few months ago. Basically I was testing it, and either I have a video posted or I will post a video about this one. This is called SUMA ORIENTAL from Une Nuit Nomade. Now, price-wise, I feel like it's the same price. It's very similar to the one from Kayali, so it's around the same budget. But this, again, it's a very interesting take on patchouli, and like I have mentioned in that video as well, somewhere among the lineage, these two fragrances met somewhere. And again, I think they met, you know, like what they have in common is the patchouli accord with gourmand notes, but here basically you have the patchouli is a tad more tamed, and it's a bit more chilly, but here you also have a lot of rum in the opening. It smells very boozy, very rummy, very alcoholic, with the patchouli, with something that smells like dark chocolate or like a dark powdery cacao-like nuances, you know. So you also have some gourmand facets here, but they are definitely not as sweet. They are more deep and mysterious and grounding in a sense. Now the patchouli here doesn't have, I'm losing my voice. The patchouli here doesn't have the essential oil quality that some patchoulis can have in fragrances. To me, the patchouli here, again, it feels deep, it feels green, slightly deep green in a foresty kind of way, but it doesn't feel dewy, it doesn't smell like mold, it doesn't smell like essential oil, you know. It's a very beautiful take on patchouli, but with lots of deep dark grounding notes. You have the rum here, and you can actually smell it very well. I think the one from Kayali has also listed rum, but honestly there I don't get anything rum-like. Yeah, I don't know where I put the other one. Yeah, but here you can actually clearly smell the rum, and it's also much darker than the one from Kayali and more chilly. You also have some balsamic facets in this fragrance that you get them more in the opening, and I feel like how they play here, they give lots of richness to the fragrance and a slight bit of warmth, but as this fragrance starts to develop, you lose the warmth completely and it goes so cold, so chilly, so grounding, so deep. This is definitely a mysterious fragrance. Now, why I say that this is the more elevated version, to me this is something that shares some similarities with vanilla royal sugared patchouli, but this one is for those people who don't like sweet fragrances, you know. This is for those people who want something that's a bit more sophisticated, that's a bit more elevated and grown up. Even though I don't want to say that the one from Kayali smells youthful, because it definitely doesn't. You need to have the taste, you need to have the nose. I also think you need to have the age to appreciate this fragrance, you know. Whereas with this one is a bit more grown up in a sense that even the sweet gourmand leaning notes, like the, I mean, look, I know rum is not considered gourmand, like it's considered boozy note. You have the boozy note of rum, and then you have that dark chocolatey cocoa powder undertone that could be considered gourmand, but it's almost like they add more flavor than they add sweetness, if you know what I mean. Yeah, with a little bit of vanilla, but this one overall feels much more deep, much more mysterious, much more grounding. It's a beautiful fragrance, you guys. Beautiful fragrance if you have a taste for patchouli fragrances, and if you're looking to add something made around patchouli in your collection, this is worth checking out. Honestly, I would advise you to get the discovery set from Une Nuit Nomade if you want to test their fragrances. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, leave me a comment. That would help me a lot and that would encourage me to make more videos like this. Also, let me know what are some of your favorite dark, bold, mysterious fragrances for this time of the year. I would love to know that. And who knows, maybe we could all give each other recommendations in the comment section. So yes, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Also, if you want to tell me anything, if you have any video ideas, again, please put them down below. I always love reading your comments and I try my best to respond to as many comments as I possibly can. I'm a bit behind, honestly, but I'm trying, you know, like I try to dedicate daily hours just to respond to comments because I love interacting with you, you know. So yes, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget you can follow me on Instagram. Here is my handle. Hopefully I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, if you're not subscribed. Don't forget to subscribe. But yes, thank you so much for watching and I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye guys.